Well, you know, the whites in Barbados had a 300 years advantage. First, as slave owners. Secondly, as the plantation owners. And so that was the advantage that the black Barbadian did not have. So they are 300 years behind. And of course, the conditioning process, the educational process was such, and it is still such to a greater extent, where you are always prepared to work for somebody else. And that is the situation even today. So you would find that the whites among us would have already had that 300 years of advantage through their forefathers. The East Indians, on the other hand, are very thrifty people, and they always save, and they know what hard work is. But this does not mean that the black Barbadians or the whites in Barbados does not know what hard work is all about. But that is how we are brought up. That if we work for $1, we are going to make sure we spend 99 cents, and we will still leave 1 cent for our children. In other words, I think that we, the East Indians, understand the difference between the need and want. And many black Barbadians fail to understand the difference between the need and want.
I find a lot of people are caught up in that. Oh, I don't have enough, lack of resources. So they kind of wallow there and they watch what the other person has on the hill. Where really, you know, on the streets, the guys use that as ambition. Okay, this is what I want, this is what I don't have. What I see the similarities with the film and the actual Britain's Hill area is that people are so hung up on not having that they lose sight of the ambition. I figure if you don't have, you say, okay, I may not ever get to that point, but let me try to look at what works for these people.
We have racial harmony in Barbados because there's a great imbalance, and the majority of Barbadians feel comfortable with it. That's why we live harmoniously. But for me, racial harmony should be 92% of Barbadians, the 92% black ones, owning and controlling 92% of the wealth of Barbados. When that is so, I feel that we would then have racial harmony. For me, there will be no racial harmony while that imbalance exists, because I know why it is so. I know how they got the ill-gotten money and the power, and I don't feel happy or comfortable with that situation.
The educational system has been such and was such that they prepare you for either being a civil servant or whether you are going to go into a teaching service or work for somebody else. It has never been the intention of the black Barbadian father who, if he is a carpenter, to say, well, look, I know my son is becoming, a doctor or a lawyer or engineer or whatever. To see, let me take time out on his weekend from school to teach him how to make a table, how to make a chair. And so they feel in their duty to pass on, to give them that empowerment to be something else. So the day that you are kicked out from your civil service job, that he could go and make a chair, or be a plumber, or be an electrician. And I think, unfortunately, the black Barbadian parents fail to educate and enlighten their children in the job that they were doing.
I find the biggest thing in the ghetto and the urban areas is the lack of structure. It's not that you're rich. If you think about rich kids, they don't just get up and say, okay, I've inherited $1 million. Imagine if they sit on the beach and they travel the world. At some point, it will fade.
Yeah, they'll spend it, right?
They'll spend it. What the parents teach the kids is investment, to be more family oriented. So if you think about it, the well-to-do kid is coming up in a good home. There's homework, there's set times, there's social events, there's cultural events, there's education, there's religion. It's a balance.